All right, guys, we have a couple of things to update here, a couple of pieces of news, let's say, that have broken in the last little bit. You may remember a while back I made a video talking about the fact that Surface Duo 2 was getting harder and harder to find. Depending on your region and depending on the retailer you were looking at, Duo 2 may be out of stock, as well as some accessories to Duo 2, like the the charging cover case for the slim pen. These things have become very, very difficult to find. I also made a video shortly after that talking about this tweet here sent to me by Mr. Cronenberg here, that Saturn, which is a German retailer, was looking to restock on October 6th or the 8th. Now, the first thing I want to update you guys on is this story here. So that date apparently has continued to move. It seems to me that maybe Saturn doesn't actually know when these things are coming in. Maybe they thought it was going to be the 6th or the 8th, but things keep getting pushed back. They're trying to get them in stock, but things keep pushing back that delivery date, and so that date is moving. We also thought that perhaps that price was a bit lower than it had been in the past. Some people have commented on that video and said actually it was already that price on some other retailers. So maybe this is just them adopting a price that was already there. This kind of gets complicated because we're talking about euros and pounds, and then we're talking about dollars and whether or not tax is already applied, and it gets a little bit hard to go one-to-one what a price is in one country to another. So we'll throw out the price drop thing we talked about. Let's assume that the price is not changing. What we can assume now is that Saturn is trying to restock, but they're not sure when they're going to be able to restock. That seems to be the case broadly across the world. Now, what's the other big update that I have to bring to you? Well, Mr. Rubino on Windows Central wrote an article talking about these shortages maybe 4 days or so before I made my video, kind of elaborating on it a bit deeper. And on his article, he mentioned that they had reached out to Microsoft to try and get clarification. Why are you out of stock? Mr. Rubino just published an update to that exact question. Surface Duo 2 is not discontinued. I repeat, Surface Duo 2 is not discontinued. They're facing component shortages. So here's the quote here. I'm going to link to this article because there's going to be more stuff in here that Daniel talks about beyond what I'm going to say. But here's the quote. From Microsoft, we are experiencing supply constraints that are impacting stock of Surface Duo 2 units. The product is not being discontinued. We continue to update and innovate on this form factor, and we are excited by customer interest. So let's drill into this a little bit further because there's a lot to this. And honestly, I think that the best I might be able to do here is to read a comment left by Bowling Donuts MD on my community post, because I think this person pretty much nailed this. They said it's pretty common knowledge that chip orders are put in well advance of a device launch and only for a set time. Assuming when everything was signed for Duo 2, Microsoft still had plans for Duo 3. Really would have been Duo Go. The light one was going to come in the fall. But either way, still the same. So they had plans on another Duo coming out in the fall. They would definitely have made arrangements to spin up productions for a year's time. So basically, Duo 2 comes out. They're only planning on really making it up until maybe Duo Go. Maybe they're going to make a few more, but Duo Go is going to kind of slide in there and reduce demand of Duo 2 a little bit. So that was probably part of the plan. After that cancellation, they need more Duo 2s now, but it's really, really cost ineffective. It costs a lot of money to then spin this up again to put in another smaller order by comparison to other manufacturers, right? Because they don't need to double up the number of Surface Duo 2s. They just need a few more. They're not going to like put in the same order that they had to begin with. They're not going to make that same amount again. They're just going to put in a small order to try and restock. And the fact that this is such a niche device makes this kind of difficult, kind of hard for them to properly restock this thing. You also have to contend with the fact that it's actually worse than that. When it comes to Duo 2, almost everything about this device is custom hardware, right? I mean, yes, it's a Snapdragon AAA, the memory, the storage, fine. But the screens? Have you seen this screen on any other device? I don't think I have. It's curved on one side. The glass is curved on one side. So all of this stuff is custom. The body, the PCB, the actual board in here, the wiring, all of this stuff is incredibly customized. So it is no trivial thing to restock this sort of thing in today's world of just rolling supply chain issues, hardware shortages, and alike. And that is effectively what Microsoft is telling us here, that they're having supply constraints on a device that is a niche product that hasn't sold that many, on a device that they didn't make that many of to begin with, on a device that is incredibly customized, that is unlike any other phone on the market, and every component in it has been customized, so there's not any of them floating around. Yes, of course, it's going to be hard for them to make more of them, and this may lend into the idea that without another Duo coming in this fall, that they're just selling more Duo 2s than they thought they were going to have to, right? They thought there was going to be another one coming. So all of these things appear to have come together into a sort of perfect storm to make it such that you just can't really find a Duo 2 right now. But the good news is Microsoft does plan on making more, and they do plan on restocking. According to this quote, it is not discontinued. Now, when are they going to restock? Well, your guess is as good as mine, but the current reports are that Android 12L is sort of in its final stages, and it may be coming as soon as October, if not November. And so with that big of an update coming, something that's going to make Duo 2 look radically different as far as the appearance goes, finally going to get that Microsoft layer on top of Android to bring it into some sort of parity with what Windows actually looks like. Some new features coming as well, hopefully loads of bug fixes with something this potentially groundbreaking for Surface Duo 2. You'd really hope that they had some hardware, and maybe, just maybe, they've been like stockpiling some hardware, you know, getting it ready, and then they're going to launch 12L and send out some new hardware with 12L already on it. That would be really, really cool to see, because honestly, right now, everybody's out of stock. So if they've got the hardware there, right, and they can be putting 12L on it, it would make sense to launch 12L and then say, hey, we've also sent a bunch of Duo 2s out to retailers. They'll have them in a couple of days. Go ahead and buy your Duo 2. This may be wishful thinking. This may be absolute nonsense, but it is a possibility. So guys, thanks for watching. Do click the link in the description and read this article yourself, because there's some more context and there's some thoughts from Mr. Rubino as well. And of course, it's his news story and his update. So go give him a click and give him some credit in that regard for bringing this quote from Microsoft to us, to me, for me to then share with you. Don't forget to subscribe. I will see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.